What's up, MMO Attack fans? This is Zach here, bringing you guys a first impressions video for Marvel Heroes, a brand new free-to-play MMORPG developed by Gazillion Entertainment, some of the guys who were behind the original Diablo. And if you guys couldn't have guessed, this game is based off of the popular Marvel comic books franchise. It has characters from all sorts of different comics, from the Avengers to Daredevil to X-Men to Spider-Man. You start off with about 5 characters in which you can pick from for free, though. You can pick from Daredevil, who I'm running around with now, who looks nothing like Ben Affleck, Storm, Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, and The Thing. If you want other characters, you're going to have to purchase them from the cash shop, as well as certain things like costumes and such, because this game doesn't really have any character customization options at character creation. All character customization comes from what you actually equip on your character. You can press the C key to bring up your character profile, or you can press the I key, one or the other. And then you can see some items which I already have because I've been playing this game just a little bit. I actually played a good bit of the beta test. But as you can see, the items don't really have an effect on your character's appearance. Again, this is because you're playing as a licensed Marvel superhero. They can't, or they wouldn't want to deviate too much from the actual, or from what the character actually looks like. But you can go into the cash shop, and in addition to purchasing buffs and things of that nature, you can buy costumes and new characters in which you can play as. And new characters, I mean, they're really the characters that you'd want to play. I mean, you can purchase guys like Captain America, Iron Man, people like that. I'm not a big fan, I guess, of the default superheroes. But I'm gonna go ahead and go into a mission here. Essentially, it says to reactivate a security system, restore main power grid, lock down cell block. But before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and open the store. Yeah, you see, I have no cash shop funds. In the beta, they actually gave you some money, so you could go in and purchase a costume or a new hero if you wanted. But as you can see here, this is what I was talking about, where you can kind of go in and take a look at all the different costumes that you have available, and they're all based off of a specific comic book. I mean, sometimes you'll have retro costumes or costumes for maybe an alternate comic series. Like, let's take a look at Iron Man. And I mean, Iron Man, of course, just the nature of his character has so many different costumes in which you can pick from here. And this game, this right here just screams, to me, it just screams a money grab. To me, just the amount of costumes and characters that you would have to purchase with real money. Just seems like a comic book fan is just going to go absolutely crazy over some of this stuff. But as you can see, there's some retro Iron Man costumes. Let's take, is there anything for Daredevil? Yeah, there's a few costumes for Daredevil. I'm not, I don't know a lot about Daredevil, so I really don't know what these costumes are from. I mean, it says what they're from, but I don't know anything beyond what the text says. Captain America, I mean, Captain America's pretty cool. I mean, it shows his standard Avengers costume, some more updated version, a classic version of Captain America. That right there is pretty much what I think of when I think of just your standard Captain America, and that's his most recent costume. And we're gonna go ahead and take a look at some of the heroes now. And of course, you can see some of the heroes in which you can purchase. There's quite a few of them: Black Panther, Black Widow, Cable, Captain America, Colossus, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Iron Man, Miss Marvel, Punisher, Spider-Man, Thor, Wolverine. And you kind of wonder, like, why couldn't you play as Wolverine from the start of the game? And that's obvious, I think, because hey, Wolverine's a popular character. Nobody really cares about these guys, so hey, there you go. They want they want people to spend money in this game. It's free to play otherwise. Essentially, like I said, this game is from some of the original developers of Diablo 2. So guess what? It plays a lot like Diablo. It's your standard dungeon crawler hack and slash game. If you've ever played, I think it's called Marvel Ultimate Alliance, I think you'll feel right at home here, because this is a very, very similar style of game. Essentially, I'm not quite sure where I'm supposed to go, but I need to pay attention to my mini-map. So you just kind of run from area to area here in these little instanced areas. You attack enemies and you finish your quests, and you get skills when you level up and that you can use for special attacks. It's very much standard fare for a Diablo clone type of MMORPG, but there are some open world areas, which is, I mean, it's not really open world, it's just, it's a very, very similar style of game. So you just kind of run from area to area here in these little instanced areas. You attack enemies and you finish your quests, and you get skills when you level up and that you can use for special attacks. It's very much standard fare for a Diablo clone type of MMORPG, but there are some open world areas, which is a bit different from some of these games like Torchlight and such. I mean, there's some areas where you'll go out and attack enemies and perform quests and do quests which to me are sort of like public quests, because they'll only be available in a certain area, and then you can team up with other players and complete them, like maybe put out some fires or kill a certain number of enemies, things of that nature, which they are persistent areas which you can access even amongst other players. So we got a heavy bodysuit right there, and these guys are attacking. Let's see what the heavy bodysuit. We can press I to open up our inventory. Bodysuit of knowledge. +3 defense, grants battle aurora at rank 2. Well, wait, no, it says Colossus. Yeah. So it's gonna give you from time to time. You're gonna get gear that you can't even use, even if you're all by yourself. Which, I mean, that's fairly standard, I guess, for this type of game. But it's kind of, I'd rather have gear that I could use just for myself. We can press P to take a look at our powers, and there again, you can sort of see and I think I'm getting attacked. Yeah, I forget about these guys that just kind of pop out of nowhere. For a special attack, you can also use the right mouse button, I should mention. Oh, light bodysuit. Yeah, I think we can actually equip that one. So we're going to go ahead and equip that one and hope we don't die in the process of trying to explain to you guys the power system. But I just leveled up, so now I actually have some points to put in the system so I can show you guys what I was talking about. So you can press the P key and take a look at all the different powers you have available. And this right here is very similar, again, to something like World of Warcraft or maybe one of the older Diablo games. It's a little bit simplified, I think. It's not quite like Diablo 3 where you just pick a skill, and you don't even have to go through a skill tree. I mean, this is a skill tree, but I mean, look at it. It's kind of simplistic. You don't really know what each of these trees represent, which is kind of a negative to me in 2013, where you ought to be able to see, like, okay, which one might be the tank spec, or which one is the range spec, or the melee or DPS spec. And you can just take a look at all the different abilities, like the cane fu, swing your billy clubs at enemies in front of you, club sweep, things like that, club throw, hurl your billy club, slowing enemies. Let's see, what do we want to put? How about, let's see, jumping strike. Leap forward and smack the enemy with your billy club, knocking it down. Alright, we're going to put some points in that. Going to click confirm. And we just got to click and drag it over here to our hotbar. Our hotbar works similarly, again, to the hotbar from a traditional MMORPG. Except for instead of using the num keys, you use A, S, D, F, G, and H. In other words, the key all on the left side of the home row. So we can hit A button, and then we can see again what it does. It just kind of makes you leap to the target. It actually looks very, very, well, that's the exact same skill that I already had on my hotbar. I just put some more points in it there to make it a little bit stronger. But you can't drag attacks off the hotbar until you actually press the P key. So I actually think that's kind of confusing, because apparently you already have all of these abilities, but they're not already on your hotbar. I mean, when I say all of the abilities, of course I mean the first abilities for each tree. So let's see, what does this one do? Club sweep, strike all enemies around you with billy clubs, knocks down enemies and slows targets. Essentially, it's like an AoE, and we can see we did that here, and it just knocked those other guys down like ragdolls. So let's see, where we gotta go? We gotta go up here and attack some more of these guys. Make short work of them. Yeah, that didn't take long at all. More of some of these strong guys here. And, these enemies right here that are going down pretty fast, I mean, they're in the comic books as well. But the cool thing is when you actually fight some of the bosses. Because some of the bosses, or a lot of the bosses, are actually famous comic book supervillains, like Shocker and Rhino and people like that. I think Shocker. My knowledge of Marvel lore is limited at best. I mean, I had the comics when I was a kid, but pretty much nowadays all I ever do is go to watch the movies in the summertime. But I think Shocker was a Spider-Man villain. But you either face him or the Green Goblin or both in this little introductory dungeon. And you can see the mini-map on the top right there, and essentially you just follow little indicators on the mini-map, and they'll take you to your next quest objective. So there again, This game is extremely accessible in that you always know where it is you're supposed to go, so there really shouldn't be any confusion in terms of finding out your next quest location. So you can zoom in with the mouse wheel. Graphically speaking, this game's okay. Living Laser. Is that a boss? I think it might be. Okay, but like what I'm saying is, graphically speaking, this game is okay. It's not as good as something like Diablo 3. I'm not even sure if I would put it in the same category as Torchlight 2. Even though I know Torchlight 2 is a fairly simplistic game graphically speaking, it's really strong on art style. And this game just seems kinda sorta generic. And I mean, you don't have to tell me like, oh, but this is supposed to look like this. I mean, how can they make it look different? And I understand that. I mean, that's not what I'm trying to say. But I think I'm simply just saying that you can take a look at some other Marvel games that are similar to this, and they seem to, I don't know, have more of a visual pop, I guess, than this game does. Although I will say that the particle effects from like the gunshots and specific enemy abilities and character abilities, they look pretty cool. So let's see, we got a lockdown cell block alpha, and it should be coming up pretty soon. And I don't think it's going to be the end of the quest whenever we finally get this last quest objective met. I think it's going to tell us that it wants us to do some other things. It's going to come up with something else for us to do. So we're just going to knock these guys down real quick, and we're going to go to work on these guys. It shouldn't take too long to fight these guys off. Essentially, you can see how again how fluid the combat is in a game like this. But it's just a game of this nature. I mean, it's pretty much what you're gonna expect. I would be disappointed if a game like this had clunky combat, considering that combat plays such an integral part in a dungeon looter like this. But my only or not my only complaint, but one complaint that I do have, sort of a major complaint, is just this idea that first and foremost, people like to buy games like this or play games like this because of that whole item upgrade aspect. They like to feel like, hey, they're upgrading their characters, or what's that guy doing over there? Oh, whoa. Oh, that's cool. Dude just turned into Venom, and now he's like running away. That's kind of cool, actually. But people like to feel like they're progressing their characters. And I mean, in terms of stats and power, you feel like you do. But again, your character's appearance doesn't really change. So you don't ever get a sense of like in a power in that regard, I guess. You just kind of stay looking the same all the time. And again, actually being able to get new armor and to have that new armor to actually be able to see what it affects, like to be able to see that new armor, I think plays a big part in the appeal of games like this. And in a game that actually doesn't allow you to upgrade your armor in that sense. Oh yeah, there's the Green Goblin, speaking of, and he's in his classic costume too. But a game that doesn't allow you to upgrade your armor kind of defeats the purpose, I think, of a lot of the reason why people play this game. And I mean, it does have like those other armors, I mean, other like costumes and such that you can buy from the cash shop. But then again, I mean, you have to buy it from the cash shop. So it's kind of, if you are a free player or somebody that doesn't really want to spend money on this game, then I mean, what can you do? Just hope that maybe at some point in the game you get, you know, the developers throw you a bone or something and you get offered some of this content for free. But I mean, other than that, there's not really a lot that you can do. Alright, so we just killed the Green Goblin, which, I mean, obviously we truly didn't. But alright, and we have to go over to this little console here. Well, that's not a console, that's like a doorway. It's a portal to another dimension, that's what it is. There's Nick Fury. He looks a little bit like Samuel L. Jackson, actually. I love how the movies have started to influence the comic books. Like, some of the comic books have characters that look just like the movie actors. Seems a little strange to me. But there you go. That's essentially the first mission in Marvel Heroes. If you guys want to check out more about Marvel Heroes, head on over to the game's official website. If you guys want to learn more about MMO Attack, head on over to MMOattack.com for more MMO gaming news, reviews, opinions, giveaways, other awesomeness.